Hi, Adya.
Hello.
It's nice to meet you.
Good to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you. Yesterday, there were two people who came up and talked about dissolution, and I was really hearing what they were saying because I've had a lot of that. And I know the horror of it, and then the hilarity of it, and then the relief of it. When I was coming here, driving here, I thought, I was thinking, well, I just wish Adya would just take the sword and just slice my head off, just do it. I'm just sick, like end it, just do it. And I've had a lot of that happening. So that's not what I'm asking you for right now.
Oh, you're backing out of the deal.
You can, if you'd like to. Go ahead. You're a guest. That's why I have my hair in a ponytail. No, what I experienced after that is you started talking about fierce grace, and you said that actually, you were talking about one of the people, and you said, actually, that's a form of real compassion and profound love.
Yes.
And when you said that, I had that experience of that profound love, that what that is, what that feels like. And it was very important to me. Really important. I've had a big issue with trust. Knowing the truth when I was very young, and then, signing the human contract, and that whole story.
Signing up for life as an ego.
Not really wanting to, and just like, okay, well, all right, and then looking for that truth, and looking in a lot of different. Looking for somebody who had figured out how to be a human being and remain in the truth. And I wasn't really very successful at doing that. And so then I had a lot of trust issues. But when you said that, when I had that experience of that fierce grace being loving, that all of that dissolution and all of that sort of suffering, apparent suffering, was this incredible act of love, and I really experienced that. What you said something about, it was a gift to returning you to innocence. That made such an impression on me. I thought, oh, then it all made sense. That all made sense to me. So I want to know what is the source of that love?
The source of that love is in existence itself.
Just everything.
That's God. It's in the fabric of existence itself. It's sort of an unfathomable wisdom and love and compassion. It's just woven into the fabric of the whole thing. And the mind really can't see it. It doesn't even want to see it, but it's there. Do you know?
Yeah.
Most people,
amazing.
It's not that it has to be this way, but most of us human beings take the greatest leaps in consciousness at moments of profound suffering. For most people, that it takes a profound state of suffering to get even a little movement in their consciousness. And, then we get a little movement in our consciousness, and then we complain about it. Why did I have to go through that? I don't trust life. Damn it, life never treats me, da-da-da-da-da-da. Well, life had to do something to get your attention, didn't it?
So I guess then you search out for those, something in you must search out for those situations. Or some of us must do it that way. Apparently I was one of them.
Yes. I mean, this urge for life, existence, consciousness to be really fully aware of itself, spirit to be fully aware of itself in all of its forms and its formlessness. This isn't softball it's playing.
Yeah.
This isn't softball. Right? We get this image of spirituality as just this nice, soft thing, and it's very safe, and you just go in and you do your prayers, and you sing your bhajans, and you do your meditation, and you get your transformation, and it's all very nice and smooth and easy. That's a crock.
Yeah, that has certainly
It doesn't work that way.
experience.
Unless you're an extreme, unless you're one of those people with an extraordinarily light karmic load, which there are those people, but they're few and far between. Life will be about as soft or as hard as it needs to be. Existence it's on a wake up or bust program. That's it. The more you and I realize it doesn't care what it takes. It doesn't care what it takes. I mean, Ramakrishna, before he woke up, he was ready to slide a sword into himself and kill himself. That's desperation.
Yeah.
Did life care that it got him to that point? No, it had a bigger agenda. It's on an awakening or bust program, and that's it.
Do you think there's a point where you've rolled around enough and...
Of course.
I
Yes.
hope I'm at that point.
Yes, of course there is. Okay. That's why I want to make it very clear that suffering is optional. Suffering just means we're dragging our feet. We're insisting on our position. We're holding on desperately as life's trying to do everything it can to help us. So it's not written in stone that one has to suffer. Suffering is just a way that life registers that, you're holding on. Mm. And if you can just see that you're holding on and let go, doesn't need to be more than that.
Well, it's easier to think about that. It's easier to imagine that, or maybe even to do that if you trust. If there's that ultimate
trust or desperation.
Yeah, I've had the desperation quite enough.
Yeah. Well, once you've been through it a bit, there is a trust that comes upon because you realize that this is, even though it seems very haphazard, and it can even seem cruel at times, that it's actually not. And it breeds a trust in life. Egos have a very difficult time trusting life intrinsically. But life itself has no problem with it. So part of becoming more conscious is this trust builds, right? You build because you start to see more of the underlying structure of a reality, of the divine, right? You start to see it, experience it, know it through your own experience, and there's a trust that is built up in there. You go from an ego that mistrusts life to consciousness it's totally trusting in life. And then at a certain point, even the whole issue of trust disappears. Because ultimately, trust isn't even necessary. But it's sort of a temporary bridge when you realize this is trustworthy. And then it drops away. Because we either have trust or distrust when we see ourselves as separate.
Right. Yeah.
When we're no longer separate, if someone said, Adya, do you trust life? I'd say, it never even occurs to me anymore. I couldn't say yes and I couldn't say no. Because when we don't see ourselves as separate, then it's not an issue. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. And fortunately, life will do everything it needs to do to get us to realize that we're not separate.
Well,
and the more you cooperate with the inevitable, the easier it is.
So I don't have to ask you to cut my head off. If that has to happen, it will just happen by itself.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't ask for something so dramatic because
no,
you'll get it, but it won't be in the form that you expected.
Yeah, I know. Thanks very much, Alko.
All right.
Thank you.
So I always tell people, be careful what you wish for, because you'll get it. It just won't look anything like what you expected. You'll get it. Come on.